Howdy, it's Brian here. Guess what, folks? It's my next review. Back to the low-cost line or value line of Boker. More I'm learning, the more I like Boker. Boker's a pretty good little knife. They have a really varied product line. That's one thing I like about them. And they do have some knockoffs, or I don't know who was first on what, but this little, this is a Bowie fixed blade I'm going to be showing you here. It's basically Vietnam style Bowie. Weighs about 11.5 ounces. Got to be careful here. I forgot I lost the paper guard that goes on this blade here. Yeah, and I was jacking with it before I was deciding which knife to do my review on. I was seeing how sharp it was, and I was jacking around, and then realized I'd sliced about a 4-inch slice in my shirt. So, you know, it's sharp enough to slice a big hole in your shirt if you're not careful. So that'll give you an idea how sharp this puppy is. But you can see it's got a real cool grind on the blade. Like I say, it's kind of reminiscent of that Vietnam style Bowie. I know that there's some other knife makers that make a very similar knife to this. I saw one from SOG that's very similar. SOG may have even done some of the original design on this type of knife, because I've heard they did some design, special operations design for the Vietnam War. And this is a Vietnam Bowie, and I have seen one of their knives. I paid about 35 bucks for this knife with the sheath. And you can find it cheaper than that, believe it or not. I was buying something else at the site I bought it from, and so just since I was going to have $12 in shipping, I thought I'd throw a couple knives in with it. But, you can probably find this knife for about 30 bucks on some other sites. There's the sheath that comes with it. Also similar to the other Vietnam Bowies you'll see out there. It's fair. You know, it's not super cheap. It's got pretty thick leather. And like I said, if a guy was going to really do really carry a knife like this a lot, he could easily do a few modifications to these sheaths. Put a little bigger leather strap on there and everything. So, but for the money, this is a pretty good value, as I've found with a lot of these Bokers. Quality is very good for what you're spending. It's got a real nice big guard on it here that is functional. The quality is pretty good. This is laminated leather. The laminated stack of leather that a lot of K-bars and other knives use. It's not perfect. Like I say, it's pretty smooth on this example. It's not perfect, but it's very, very good. You can, let me see if I can get a little shine on there, and you can get an idea of how smooth the handle is. It's pretty good. I've heard other people complaining about theirs had a couple pieces of leather that weren't real good, but you know what? If you want to pay double or triple the cost for basically the same knife or a very similar knife, go right ahead and you'll get yourself a perfect handle. But this handle is fine. I don't have any complaints with it. There's the end of the knife. Also similar to other Vietnam style Bowies. It's got an 8.5-inch blade on it. Pretty good size. I actually think the blade's a little bigger than the SOG I saw. It's very similar to this, but check that edge out there. Let me tell you, that puppy there will do a number on your shirt, man. It really will. If I screwed around with it a little longer, I would have been standing here with no shirt on. Anyway, shoot. I tell you what, man. Ah, shoot. Let's see. So there she is. I don't think this needs to be a real long video on this fixed blade. You don't have the design issues with the folder that you do. But I think this is a pretty cool knife for the money. Like I say, it's a pretty good example, and it's a good way to save about 50% in cost compared to other brands that probably aren't much higher quality than this, maybe a little bit, but certainly not to be worth double the cost. So here again, another good little item from Boker. This thing does have the sheath does have a little grinding stone included. I'm sure that's going to make everyone happy to know. Also, like I said, there's other examples out there of a very similar design. Trying to get the, you know what, let me see if I can get the model number here real quick. Hold on. This is 02 MB565. The retail on this knife is $52.95. Like I say, you can pick it up for about 30 bucks on some sites. And the overall length is 12 5/8. I'll probably just go ahead and put that in an annotation on the video so this thing won't grow and have its own life. This video won't be long enough that it has its own retirement plan and everything. So I'm going to probably knock off after this. It's about time for my tactical nap. Anyway, I'll see you all later.